To cut company costs, Mr. Burns announced he was canceling the employee prescription drug plan. Without this benefit, the vast majority of employees just couldn't afford their meds. Burns completely understood how they felt, so he wasted no time and had Smithers fly him far, far away. Meanwhile, Mark gathered all the medicine in the house. From now on, they had to ration it and pray they didn't get sick. Homer told everyone not to panic. As a real man, how could he just give up? I'll just get a job with health insurance. So Homer went to the employment agency and said, I just want a job with great medical coverage, working no more than 2 hours a day, zero heavy lifting, and absolutely no thinking required. The agent opened his computer and said, let me see what I can find. Well, Burns had set a terrible example. Bad habits spread like wildfire, and other companies in Springfield quickly followed suit, cutting their employees' drug benefits. Meanwhile, the pharmaceutical companies kept their prices sky high. Frustrated, Lisa went straight to the factory boss to negotiate. Why does a single, regular pill cost so many dollars? It's not this expensive in other countries, the boss replied. If medicine is too cheap, you won't value your health, which hurts everyone. If you don't like it, you can go live somewhere else. The local retirement home couldn't afford medicine either. Every day, they just handed out bottle caps and popcorn to trick the seniors. The nurse even said, let's play a game. Whoever survives until tomorrow without medicine gets a free shot of insulin. Grampa. Abe slammed the table. He remembered how bootleggers in Springfield used to get filthy rich back in the day. Now that we can't get meds, I'm not missing out on this business opportunity. He knocked on Homer's door and said, son, do you still want a huge inheritance? I think I can make one last push. We'll smuggle drugs in from the neighboring country. We'll make a fortune. Hearing there was dirty money to be made, Homer expertly pulled out a grinder and sanded off his fingerprints. Homer drove Abe to the border, but it wasn't Mexico like they were used to. It was Canada. Abe had connections at the nursing home and scored a fake Canadian health card. In the pharmacy, they could buy as much medicine as they wanted. The father and son were fully loaded. When crossing the U.S.-Canada border, the guard asked if they had anything to declare. Homer said, I just want to declare that you're the most handsome guy I've ever seen. Sweet talking and making a quick getaway, those were Homer's two greatest weapons in life. He unloaded all sorts of pills from the trunk. Abe sold them at a discount at the retirement home, making a nice profit. The old folks were incredibly grateful, lining up to buy. Now Homer's pockets were full and his family had all the medicine they needed. Bart ate smart pills like candy, thanking his drug lord dad. Homer suddenly remembered he had swallowed quite a few balloons full of stuff. These ordinary little pills were actually saving people's lives. Homer's status in Springfield was now second only to sunlight, air, and water. Apu, the convenience store owner, sucked up to him instantly. Read the magazines for free. Drink all the sodas you want. I just have one request. Next time you restock, can you take me with you? I have 8 kids at home, coughing and spitting all day. If I don't get them some medicine, I won't even be able to afford the cleaning supplies. Flanders also begged Homer to take him along. His kids needed insulin. So the drug smuggling duo brought these two deadweights along. They practically emptied out a Canadian pharmacy, but this time crossing customs was destined to be a disaster. Apu burned himself drinking hot coffee. Always ready to help, Flanders used a wet towel to cool his head down. So the customs officers saw a very bizarre scene. It looked like Apu was a terrorist. The police surrounded them with guns drawn. Homer said, relax, we're just innocent tourists. But the Canadian police arrested the American drug smuggling ring. Homer was sulking because the news footage made his butt look huge. Couldn't the cameraman pick a better angle? Luckily, the Canadian authorities just confiscated their car and everything in it. After all, keeping them locked up would just waste taxpayer money. It was better to deport them back to America and ban them from Canada for life. Mr. Burns had been very happy lately. Cutting the health benefits had drastically lowered company costs, but Smithers suddenly collapsed on the floor, his neck swollen like a toad. With his company benefits gone, he couldn't afford his thyroid medication either. He was about to lay down his life for company policy. Burns might betray the entire world, but he cherished the only person who stayed loyal to him. He needed to get that medicine right away, but local drug prices were ridiculously high. With that kind of money, he could literally fly to Canada and get it. Now, who was familiar with the Canadian route? Burns tracked down Homer and Abe and dragged them onto his giant wooden airplane. They were going to pull off a massive heist, flying to Canada and filling the plane plane. The cabin was packed with all sorts of meds. The old plane struggled to cross the border due to the bad weather. They had to make an emergency crash landing. They needed to toss out any useless heavy cargo. Homer said, "Hey, I can go on a diet." The situation was looking grim. They had to bail out. Burns pulled out 3 parachutes and said, "Perfect, I'll use one. And I can sell the other 2 when I land to make some extra cash." Luckily, after Burns jumped out, the plane could still barely fly. Even though Homer didn't know how to fly, relying on pure faith in those wings, he believed everything would turn out all right, even though the plane lost half a wing. The crazy town of Springfield was never short on miracles. The plane landed smoothly right in the town square, waking up the snoozing police chief. He arrested Homer and Abe for the crime of interrupting his official nap time. But the townspeople, desperate for medicine, stopped the chief. The will of the people was very clear. If you can't beat them, join them. That was the chief's golden rule after years on the force. Burns took the medicine straight to Smithers. A dose of magic potion plus some CPR. Who knows if it was the drug or just pure love that woke Smithers up. Burns said he was going to bring back the health benefits. Otherwise, if all his sheep died off, his shearing blades would get awfully lonely.